Greetings. This is our monthly update on the progress of the technological disruption of electrical vehicles. And as with many months, we start off with an article that I wrote way back in December of 2018. As you can see here, this is when I used to give a monthly award, Atom Award of the Month, for whatever was a major technological disruption that was underway at the time. And in this article, I describe why after decades and decades of seemingly no progress, electrical vehicles we're finally at a point where they are more cost-effective and technologically superior to internal combustion engine vehicles, and therefore the replacement of new car sales going to electrical vehicles and away from internal combustion engine vehicles was going to happen very quickly from this point. I specifically list out how commercial and government vehicles are the inflection point where this is going to occur. Mainly how the United States has 800,000 police cars, 210,000 U.S. Postal Service vans, and a variety of other government vehicles, on top of 110,000 UPS vehicles, 60,000 FedEx vehicles, and perhaps 300,000 pizza delivery trucks. Once these commercial and government small vehicles go to electrical, that's when there's enough volume for substantial cost improvements in consumer electric vehicles, and that is now underway in October of 2021, as we shall soon see. But just to recap why the cost reductions are happening now, we click on this chart. Focus on the chart on the right-hand side here. There's two exponential trends improving batteries as used in electric cars. One is battery cost, dollars per kilowatt hour, and that has been dropping a lot already, and as of 2022 is already substantially lower than it was in 2008. And then battery energy density, watt hours per liter. So how big does a battery have to be to provide a certain amount of power that enables a certain amount of electrical car range? One of the early complaints was that an electrical car's charge would only go for 100 miles or so, but now 300, 350 miles is pretty common, which exceeds the demands of most people. Rarely are you going to be on a road trip that goes further than that, and even so you can just charge the car. The charging is no longer required to be that often. So these two exponential trends have been working in tandem, and that is why we are seeing the very high percentage growth in electric vehicles now, and the extent to which they are displacing internal combustion engine vehicles amidst new car sales is very sizable. And therefore now we're going to go and look at the latest month of results. This here is the Inside EVs website, and the most recent headline is that global plug-in car sales August 2021 doubled to over 500,000. So as we scroll down, we go to this chart, which I'll expand. Now, if you're not accustomed to reading a chart like this, what is conveyed over here is 6 separate years, 2016 through 2021, and the monthly sales in each month of each of those years as conveyed by bar charts. This smooths out any seasonality. So if you go to August, you can see August of 2016 was this little blue bar, and August of 2021 is this red bar. And you can see not only is August of 2021 over twice as much as August of 2020, but if you say that there has been some coronavirus related distortion, well, okay, go back to see a longer term trend line from 2016. It is clearly about 10 times higher than 2016. And this manifests in a lot of different data points across this chart. If they showed all years going back to 2010, you would see how different of a world it is for electric vehicles now versus just a decade ago. And this trend is very substantially underway. Electric car sales are now 7.7% of all new car sales worldwide, and they are in the teens in both Europe and in China, as well as in the state of California in the United States. Now, California is separate from the other 49 states in the United States in that 42% of all electrical vehicle sales in the United States are in California, whereas the interior of the US still sees hardly any electrical vehicle sales, and that's for a couple of different reasons, including the low cost of gasoline, the long distances driven, and frankly certain cultural rigidities and out-of-date information of the people living in the interior US. A lot of conservative Republican types are still extremely against electrical vehicles, but their information's out of date. They think all the limitations that may have existed in 2002 are still true in 2021, and they're just hopelessly behind the times. And I'm going to make a video that makes fun of all the outdated beliefs of certain older conservative Republicans as well, but that's a topic for a different set of videos of mine over here. But electric vehicles are growing at a very rapid rate. This is at the point of causing meaningful displacements across all secondary and tertiary technologies associated with electric vehicles, such as the disappearance of oil consumption and replacement with electrical consumption. This is a huge benefit to countries that import a lot of oil, such as China, Japan, and the European countries. They are going to rapidly be able to cut their oil imports as electrical cars diffuse. You will see a lot of land freed up. The number of gas stations in the United States is already only half as much as it was in the 1980s, and gas stations occupy a lot of land and a lot of prime land because they have to be situated in high traffic locations in urban and suburban settings because of the need for gas stations to be highly accessible. All that land freed up is going to enable that land to be allocated towards more contemporary uses. The entire supply chain of oil gets disrupted substantially because transporting oil from one side of the world to the other actually consumes about 15% of oil just in the transportation and refinement of that oil. It is a very inefficient supply chain and very inefficient way to source energy because, as I repeat, 15% of all oil is consumed just in the transport and refinement of oil into gasoline. And getting to electric vehicles gets rid of that whole inefficient supply chain. And lastly, renewable energy sources such as solar and wind power have reached about 10% of all electricity generated worldwide. Just a decade ago, these two numbers were negligible. Now, solar and wind, especially solar, have grown to an extent that 10% of all electricity worldwide is now solar and wind, and that now enables the powering of all these electrical vehicles. So there are multiple technological disruptions underway. That's why I covered this data on a month-by-month basis, because we are witnessing right in front of our eyes one of the big technological disruptions, and this is in fact one of the biggest, if not the biggest, technological disruption currently underway in the world right now. And it's consuming a very large portion of the entire technomic medium, the atom, but it's generating more technology that will release more deflation as this disruption progresses, and therefore there will be more money printing needed to offset that deflation that I speak about in other videos on this channel. But anyway, I just wanted this to be a monthly update on electrical vehicle sales and didn't want this video to get too long. So I hope this information was useful to you. And if you like these types of subjects and to learn about these sorts of multidisciplinary subjects, then I encourage you to subscribe to this channel. And thank you very much for watching.